this is a nice story. Many years ago, I was called out to attend to a rhino orphan in Mkuzi Game Reserve. We had no idea what had killed the mother. It was in the era before we were hit by poachers so badly. So it was probably a natural mortality of some sorts, although when I got there, the carcass was at least a week old, and it was impossible to tell with the decomposition, what had happened to the mother. But nevertheless, the orphan was still with the, and it was about 4 months old. So a 4-month-old orphan sitting with its mother, and it became also very evident that this orphan had not left its mother's side, just from the tracks in the immediate area. So we were aware of the fact that this orphan could not have been drinking anything. There was no water around at all. It was a long way away. And what had sustained that poor little orphan was its mother's bodily fluids, which was also evident from the stink or stench that came from the orphan's mouth. So this little guy was severely compromised. He was in a bad shape. And in any case, I was able to immobilize it, and I had him on supportive therapy. We rehydrated him, gave him drips, and had him in a crate. And because I was so concerned about him, I actually sat in the crate with the rhino all the way back to our holding facility in Shishlui-Pelosi Game Reserve. It's probably about a 2-hour drive. And what subsequently happened that we were on the highway, and the orphan was now slowly recovering, not just from its dehydration and its trauma and whatever, it was also recovering from the effects of the drugs. And I had no means of giving it anything in addition. So I couldn't sedate it any further with the limited drugs that I had. And as it became more and more lively, and more awake, it became very, very aggressive. And I had no means of communicating with the driver, who was in a cab, merrily driving along the highway with me and a rhino stuck in a crate. And I can assure you that by the time the driver eventually stopped, I was so bruised that I couldn't climb out the top of the crate. My ribs and my fists, because I'd been keeping him away with my fists and my arms, and then he would hit me in the ribs, and I was trying to kick him off. It was horrendous. It was the longest journey I've ever had. Anyway, the driver stopped to come and check to see if everything was all right. And no, get me out of here. And I remember him literally grabbing me by my shirt and assisting me out the top of the crate. But this little guy, in spite of his experience and the trauma and suffering it must have had, he had this amazing sort of will to live.